someone who wrote about fashion, the French doll market in the 1860s and 1870s, made a comment that there was nothing that was made for ladies, real ladies, walking the fashion boulevards in Paris and all, that was made for them in the way of accessories or shoes or hats or luggage, that was made for real people, that wasn't also made for dolls. Went on to say that, and they weren't inexpensive either, just because they were little. They tended to be even more expensive than the full-size ones because of the intricacy of the work. Many of the people who worked in the making of the accessories for dolls were also the same manufacturers who did the full-size pieces, and others were people who just specialized in tiny doll accessories. But it was an incredible industry, very, very important. And going through the French directories of advertisers each year, you can see the people that advertised of the accessories and pieces that they made. It also, as I pointed out to you just a little while ago, this was, Leontine Romer said it in that piece that I read to you. She paid her overhead with trousseaux and accessories. Selling a doll was one thing, but if you could sell a costume and another costume and another one and another one, and then a hat, and a pair of shoes, or maybe another pair of shoes, and a belt, and all of these things to go with that same one doll you sold, that was a great revenue stream. And that's what this was all about. And the workmanship on these is so extraordinary. Now, I talked to you before about colors. And the colors that seemed to be the dominant colors of this time period was a bright red, of which Karen appears to love it very much, because many of her fashion dolls are wearing red, and the color red appears over and over in many of the accessories and other pieces that she has, which we're going to see. Red, royal blue, or this crystal ice blue is another very dominant color. Aqua green is very big, brown and cream. Those were the dominant colors. And you might find others, but they were not the most significant ones. So I just have some trays of different lots that are coming up in her upcoming auction, and I've arranged them according to the lots. And over here at first we have a wonderful sac de voyage, which was in the US at the time this came out in 1860s, was just about Civil War and post-Civil War. And they always called the Northerners who went down south after the war, they called them the carpetbaggers. And they all carried this kind of a suitcase, which became known here in the States as the carpet bag. In France, it was a little more elegantly the sac de voyage, made for real people, also made for dolls. The bottom part opens for storage, and then conveniently the top part would open. So if you were traveling, you don't have to open your whole suitcase to get a few things out. Great piece of luggage, great design. And also, the work was being imported at this time into France, the wonderful Paisley work. I wanted to point out to you what appears to be a signature written in yellow thread on there. Many of these scarves we found will have a signature like this. Each one I've ever seen is different. I don't know what it means, if it was the person who constructed it, who did this little piece of embroidery above it. I don't know. There seems to be some kind of a growing feeling in the doll world that these scarves were presented by Madeleine Theriault, and in fact, or Adelaide Theriault, and in fact there have been some which have appeared in original signed Theriault boxes. Whether she was the only one who offered them, I don't know, but this is a beautiful example of one. And these wonderful red boots I'm going to put them upright so you can see them, that have the little tassel fronts and the lacing and the red bows on them. Again, the dominant red color, very, very wonderful. Let me move this other tray to the front and those to the back, and to show you some other accessories, again, with the red color. Of course, the French market basket. Every woman who went to the store had a market basket. Like we're trying to get away from plastic bags today. They were way ahead of us 150 years ago. They had market baskets, and double-lidded always, so you could put things in on each side, carry them on your arm. Wonderful. They made them for doll size as well. I love the use of red in this red hat, this with a baboulet at the back, and the wonderful pleated edging on it, and then it continues around the front, the black lace. Nothing, it's simple, but it's not simple when you really look at it and see the construction of it. Another, also, I talked to you about snoods, and another wonderful snood, and this one is interwoven, two colors of black and red, great for a bad hair day. I'd probably be wearing them every day. and a wonderful pair of hand-woven slippers. They're very, very nice, again, in the black and red color combination, which is very nice. Just want to look at the undersole here and see. Yeah, you can see the hand stitching, how it was all very, very simply stitched together. But they have little silver buckles on top, so very, very nice accessories. Now let's move over and look at some blue accessories. This is a great group right here in the front, this little group for tiny dolls. You'd use these on probably a 14-inch doll. What is significant in here is this lovely clock, which has the Deposé insignia on the back. This is an early clock for a doll, very, very lovely. Handkerchiefs. You know, the workmanship on the handkerchiefs for little poupées. We look at it and you say, a little piece of cloth. No, it's not. Intricate scalloped edge and workmanship. They're absolutely wonderful pieces. Bonnets. Once again, a lovely, lovely bonnet. Designed to fit flat on the top of the head, slightly peeking over the forehead. And my favorite, you're going to see another one in a minute in a bigger size, but the tiny little papeterie. So for the poupée to have at her desk, and you open it inside, and you have your stationery and your paper and pencil, so you could write a letter for your little poupée. This is a really rare size. I hadn't seen that size before from Karen's collection. And then in the back here we have another papeterie, and this is a slightly bigger size. And let's see what's in this one. Okay, it has a whole array of stationery and letters and stamps, and there's an inkwell in there, and it looks like a seal. All these wonderful things. So for your French poupée, she would have her own little portable writing desk. Wonderful jacket with the flared arms and the flared back. Look at the colors again, all right? The cream and the blue. And check out this snood. It's with velvet, like a velour, a blue velour snood. Absolutely beautiful with blue streamers. And gaiters, because everybody has to keep their legs warm in the winter. And they have the little straps at the bottom. Let me show you. They go like this. Look at the shape of the leg it would actually follow, so it would fit snugly on the doll. And then when you turn it over, it has the strap on the bottom, which would go under your foot and hold them from riding up on you. And even the original buttons and all, wonderful pair. And then a little box. So another great lot of accessories. Karen loved accessories, and she sought them wherever she could. She was a very devoted buyer of accessories. Here's a wonderful group, and here's that green aqua color I was talking about. A wonderful bonnet. A nécessaire that open. This one happens to be empty, but sometimes when you open them, they're filled with little toiletries or sewing accessories. Very, very lovely. A bone-handled parasol with the silk, original silk, and the fringed edging on it. And the loop to attach to your belt. Little things that we don't necessarily notice all the time, but you're carrying your parasol, you can't carry it in your hand all the time, so you would loop it onto your belt. And a wonderful pair of gloves. I'm just going to hold them in my hand like this. Okay. That's one of my favorite groups. Again, this is more aqua than green, this particular group. Let me just reverse these here. And it's another wonderful assemblage. You have the wooden bentwood hat box, which is so very typical, and the little bonnet that goes with it. This is a wonderful little carrying basket with a woven cord handle. The parasol, once again, in the colors we're speaking about, with the ivory fringe handle. And another wonderful bonnet with ivory ribbons. And here is the inside. So it would go flat on the top of the head. And then you could see the inside around the edge of your face. Wonderful little details. Staying in that same color scheme, this is a wonderful group. Well, first of all, look at this. Check this handkerchief. Look at the handwork on that. Who would do that today? That is extraordinary. A woven bonnet, a lovely pair of gloves, another very choice parasol in an original box. And wonderful shoes that we cannot call hooray because they are not signed, little ankle boots with ties at the side, lacing at the side. But we want to call them hooray because they have that very distinctive sole that appears on the hooray shoes. Remember that little stamp that was put on there that says hooray à Paris, hooray in Paris. That could have been rubbed off over the years. It could have disappeared. Definitely very fair to call this in the hooray manner. Very, and a very rare little style. So sticking with parasols for a minute, I took the pleasure of opening this up for you in advance because I don't like to work it back and forth. They're so fragile. This is what is known as the pagoda parasol because of its very, very distinctive style. Rather than opening outer like they do and forming like a semi-ball, this opens in a pagoda shape, and it's an extremely rare parasol. Very, very few are ever found. In the back, in this little arrangement, a beautiful use of colors and workmanship. Again, one of the woven hats, and it looks simple at first until you look at those overlapping blue ribbons on the top with binding on the edge, and then they form almost like a star shape. And on the inside, we have the blue silk lining and the blue streamers designed to fit flat on the top of the head. Along with it, oh, this is my favorite. Okay, I would wear this today. Look at this. That is an absolutely beautiful little cape it's either a muslin or a linen. I can't figure out what it is right now. That wonderful brown color that is typical of this era. And then look at the embroidery running down the front panel of each, and then the edging, the intricate edging with black and cream and 3 different layers of it. And continues on the back side. And in that same group, simpler, but still so elegant, is this wonderful fabric, this woven fabric with the aqua trim embroidery around the edges. And then let me show you the back, because coming and going, they wanted their fashion to be wonderful. And if you said hello and then you're walking away, bye Mary, oh, look at that beautiful bow on the back of her cape. Isn't that wonderful? All these little details are what really made French fashion today for people and dolls, and French fashion then for people and dolls, the extraordinary workmanship that it was. I think you can tell I love these pieces almost as much as the dolls. So, let's see. Here is, I'll move that over here. Here's another wonderful group, again with the same colors, the aqua colors. Again, a parasol with a wonderful lace edging, a brown velvet bonnet, and a beautiful pair of shoes that are signed CC. I'll show you that in just a moment, how they're signed. Let me just show you the shoes. They are the black, very, very soft textured kid skin, and then they do them with like a brown edging and a brown bow on the top. And they have a wonderful little wooden heels. Think of the workmanship on this, wooden heels. And the leather soles, and they're signed, let me say it this way, CC. We don't know who this maker was. There has not been anyone yet who has been identified as CC. There was, in the French Encyclopedia, Francois suggests possibly Charpentier, but the timing doesn't seem as though that's who it would be. So a little piece of research for someone to do is, Who is the CC doll maker? Karen loves CC shoes. Many of her dolls are wearing shoes signed CC. Moving along to the one in the back. Again, another nice little group. Again, look at this jacket. Is that stylish? Would that be stylish today? Yes, it would. Beautiful linen jacket. A woven hat with the black streamers coming down. Another wonderful handkerchief, a little box, and here's a pair of shoes. And let's see. These are signed. This is another mystery signature. All right. There's the shoes. And here's the signature. And if anybody knows, I have not been able to identify who the maker of these shoes would be. So if anyone knows, I would be thrilled if you would share it with me, and I will share it with others. Okay? And then, as you can see, black was a very strong color as well. And Karen liked a lot of black fashion. You'll see some other beautiful gowns and pieces that she has in her collection when you get the catalog or look online. Look at this black velvet vest. And I wish you could see the construction of so many of these pieces, because the inside lining, fully hand-worked, beautifully done, almost like a padded lining. And with it, we have placed in the same lot this wonderful ermine-tipped fur stole, a muff rather, fur muff. And something that's so hard to show how wonderful these are, but beautiful, beautiful lace collars or shawls, edged with, it's like a tulle, a flock tulle for the piece itself, and then wonderful embroidered edging, and then black velvet interwoven ribbon. Beautiful piece. And then moving along to one more lot to show you, there must be about 80 lots of accessories in the auction. So you're just seeing a fragment of them. And here we have another wonderful group that we have another wonderful piece of lace work, like a lace wrap, and another beautiful lace wrap. The collar, a parasol, a bone-handled parasol, a bonnet, and another beautiful pair of gloves with fine workmanship on them. And look at these shoes. Now this is really incredible. We have over here, I showed you the Hooray costumes. There are also 2 lots of Hooray shoes that are being offered. And they're both, this is another very, very different one. It has the Hooray signature on the underside. And they are little ankle boots with the inserted elastic panel in the sides. Kind of, these are so stylish today. Does this look like something that you probably have 2 pairs of in your closet? Yes, it does, except yours might have a little zipper on the side along with the elastic insert, but they are so very stylish and right up to date. Classic fashions like that never get old. And then the other pair of Hooray shoes are these little black slip-ins with little bows on the front. They have the signature, the sole and the signature, and something very different, little wooden heels that are painted red. Very, very different, very stylish. And then 2 other groups of shoes that I wanted to show you because of their wonderful markings. This is another pair of wonderful ankle boots with a tassel front, and they have the mark on the underside of Balo, who was a shoemaker, a Paris shoemaker for dolls, and to have the signature on them is absolutely wonderful. And then finally, I love this pair. How can you dream of finding these? A little pair of black slip-ins, again with the brown silk bows, little wooden heels, and marked CC, and then indication of where they were sold at the Magasin des Enfants in Paris, because there's a little paper label still adhered to them. So there is an added clue for those whoever's going to do the research on CC shoes. This is one of the boutiques in which they were sold. And those are some of the, just a few of the many lots of accessories that are being offered with Karen Rockwell's collection. I really hope you all can see all of them, either through the catalog or the day of the auction. Each lot will be brought up to the camera and you'll be able to see it there, or even better yet, come on over and see them in person. That's the best way to do this. We have such a wonderful time. I'd love to see all of you there. But that's not all, because one of the other things that she featured very much in her collection and loved, little dolls. And I have some of her little dolls to show you.